Hey everyone, it's DJ the Fisherman here. I want to start this video off by saying that we are almost at 200 subscribers. I appreciate every one of the people who have subscribed so far. I appreciate that you guys are watching these videos week after week. Once we get to 200 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. I make some pretty awesome salmon flashers. I make them myself. They do work. You can check them out in the videos that I've been posting. They are awesome. And so I'll be giving away a couple of those, making a couple custom ones for you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet, because we are almost there. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with this video. So what I'm showing you here today is just what I go through almost every day of the week, and then especially when I wake up in the morning to check the wind, the waves, and just kind of get an idea of what it's going to be like out there before we get on the water. We're coming from the North Bay, so if we're going to Berkeley, that's a good 30-minute trip, 40-minute trip. If we're going to Bodega, that's a good hour. And so I want to make sure that before we get to those places that we're actually going to be able to get on the water safely, and it's going to be a nice day out there. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one, and that's the Marine Weather app here. And so we can look at different data from the buoys. We can look at the forecast. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So the first thing I use is the buoys, and we'll scroll into the San Francisco Bar buoy. We can go on the information. That's going to load. We can see that right now it is 3.61 foot waves. There's two different waves, 2.62 at 14.3 seconds and 2.30 at 8.7 seconds. So those waves are definitely fishable. The rule of thumb is you want the seconds to be double the wave height, and that's going to make for a comfortable day out there. And so this is 2.62 at 14.3. That's whatever 5 times more than the waves. So that's going to be a good day out there. But there's so much more than just the wave heights, and we'll keep looking at that as we go through this video. So we can scroll over, we can look at the tides. So it looks like the tide is super slow right now. That's gonna be really good for when you go around Point Bonita, which is here, Point Bonita, there in the middle. So Point Bonita is one of the most treacherous spots to navigate through when you're going through the bar. Especially when there's a super fast tide, it makes the water like a washing machine out there. We know this from experience. We've actually saved a couple people whose boats sank right there at Point Bonita on a really rough day. And having the data that I'm showing you is what told us to go home at that time. Now, we do have a bigger boat, 26-foot striper. We were able to handle that rougher water, but the smaller boat that they had just didn't quite handle it. Obviously, their boat went down, and so we knew at that 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock time that it was going to get really nasty because I looked into this data here. So I look at the tide, and that's the current tide, and we'll look at the future tides as well. Swell period versus the energy, so we can see just kind of a picture of what that swell is looking like out there. So not too bad. We can see that the top of that swell is 2.13 feet at 14.3 seconds. Scrolling over the energy trend. So is the energy trend, is it getting rougher out there? Is it getting calmer out there? We can see that it's staying pretty constant over the last few hours. And this is something I'm looking at, especially in the morning. Is it going to get rougher by the time we get there at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning? What has it been looking like at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock? So this energy trend and then the height trend, which we see here, the height trend, been pretty steady. So that's good. And then the forecast. So it is Tuesday, and we're going to go fishing on Saturday, maybe Sunday. So Saturday and Sunday are looking pretty good. 2.2 feet on Sunday, 2.3 feet, and 2.1 feet on Saturday. So this data here is starting to paint a picture that it's going to be a really nice day on Saturday and Sunday. But again, we want more data. We want more data from not only this app, but other apps. And so we'll go to forecast. We can see a zone forecast. If we click on zone, we can bring this down. These zones are huge areas though. So that zone is going all the way up from Point Arena down here to San Simon, wherever that is. But that's a huge, huge area. So we can see if we go back to zone, we can see that entire zone. Zone. We can see that entire zone is forecasted for 10 to 15 knot winds, a wind wave of 5 to 6 feet, swell around 2 feet. So I think this is the further out, the 10 miles or out zone. If we go to the 10 miles, within 10 mile zone, we can see that this is the 10 to 15 knot winds, wind waves 3 to 4 feet, south swell around 2 feet. So the wind is what concerns me on the zone, but we can go to the point forecast. We can scroll in to areas like Duxbury, and we can see that on Saturday we're looking at a 6 to 9 knot wind, mostly cloudy, mixed swell, west at 1 foot and a south-southwest at 1 foot. Wind waves around 2 feet. So not a bad day on that forecast. Go into other areas, so we can go into like Elephant Rock area in Bodega. We can see that the swell on Saturday is a 6 to 9 knot swell, mostly cloudy, mixed swell, 1 foot, and a south-southwest swell, 1 foot. Wind waves around 3 feet. So the wind waves might make it a bit rocky out there, but that forecast is definitely fishable. We can go near the Bodega Head, just off of that, and we're going to see pretty much the same thing. So there on Saturday. So this forecast is looking pretty good for the weekend. We can go and find a wind forecast by using one of my favorite apps, Windy. And so if we look here, and I am on Saturday. So Saturday for San Francisco, this darker or lighter green color is showing me that it's going to be a 13 mile an hour wind over in the bar at 9 o'clock on Saturday. Over here in Duxbury, we're looking at an 11 mile an hour wind. So not ideal, especially since it's coming from the south. You can see in the graphic here, and you can look at this app. This app is beautiful when it comes to showing you just like wind direction and the intensity of that. Scroll back into here. So it's not ideal that it's coming from the south. It's 11 mile an hour wind. So it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on throughout the week and just see if this wind forecast calms down. If we go into Sunday, we can see that actually Sunday might be the better day to go fishing this weekend with the 8 mile an hour wind, and then the bar, the 9 mile an hour winds. Even out in the bay, if you want to go halibut fishing, a 9 mile an hour wind is not terrible. Not ideal, but not terrible. If we go up here, looks like we might be making a trip to Bodega. That's Sunday, 4 o'clock. We can go ahead and scroll ahead to 10 o'clock. Yeah, it looks, I mean, again, the south wind is not ideal. It's 5 miles an hour, which is not bad. We might have been out there this past weekend in a little bit more wind than this. It was doable. Wasn't super comfortable, but it was definitely doable. So again, I'll be checking this throughout the week to see if these wind forecasts change. And most likely they will change. It is pretty far ahead to be looking right now on a Tuesday. So we can see, you know, what it is right now on here on Tuesday. And we are at here. So this wind is not terrible. Not ideal, but not terrible. If you were out there right now, tomorrow's looking beautiful. So if you can fish during the week, you know, that might be the day to go tomorrow. All right. So once I got an idea of the wind, and again, I looked at that first thing in the morning before I got out of bed to see what it's looking like. And that gives me an idea of where we're going to go. Also, where we're going to be fishing. So, you know, if I was going out tomorrow, I may be going north in Bodega. I mean, even south doesn't look bad. So take your pick there. All right. So next thing I'll do is I'm going to look at the tides, especially for Point Bonita. And that's right there at the lighthouse in San Francisco. And I'll look at the week. And I'll just see what the tides are going to be. So based on this, low tide is at midnight, 1.7. High tide, 5:52 a.m., 4.1. So these are really, really shallow or low coefficient tides. Means that not a lot of water is moving on Saturday, which is pretty good for Point Bonita when you go out there. It's not going to be just a huge washing machine when you got tides like this. The bigger tides are what make that a washing machine in that area, on that corner. So these tides are pretty good. Again, I'm just really concerned about the wind. When we go back here and look at that wind, I am just concerned of these higher winds, especially in that area. So I want to keep an eye on that. So that's why multiple data points are important. You can't just take one source and run with it. You really want to look at multiple sources. I'll also look into Coastside, which is an amazing fishing forum. The reason why I want to look into Coastside is because I want to look at the fishing reports. I want to see what people are posting and then look at the weather behind them and say, okay, wow, it was a really great day, or oh, it looked nasty out there. But please join a fishing forum, join Coastside, join any other fishing forums that are out there, because you're going to get valuable data. I don't know if there's a better one than Coastside. Coastside does the job for me, so I definitely look into that. It's a really important thing because you're getting data from people that were actually out there, and those pictures are going to tell 1,000 words. Yes, they're showing a big giant salmon or lingcod or whatever they caught, but you want to look at the weather behind them to see, okay, was it nice, was it nasty? So definitely join a fishing forum. Last thing that I use, and this is not so much for planning out the day because I kind of know all the area by now, but if you're new to the area, get the Navionics boating app. This is going to help you learn the area, study this when you're looking at those fishing forums and a person says, hey, I caught a fish at 1DR or DR1. Well, a lot of people say, well, what is 1DR? So we can scroll in and we can look around. Or you can, you could definitely ask the question, but we can scroll in and see 1DR is there. That's the Duxbury Reef Buoy, DR, 1DR. So Duxbury Reef, DR. And that is at Duxbury, off of Duxbury Point. So 1DR, DR, Duxbury Reef. Where's Rocky Point? We can see Rocky Point is just to the east of 1DR, near Stinson Beach. Okay, I caught fish at Mussel Rock. That's down south. I caught fish at Elephant Rock. Oh, that's in Bodega. So Elephant Rock, McClure Beach, Elephant Rock there. I fished at Bird Rock today. That's a little bit north of that. So definitely learn the area. Get the Navionics boating app and just start scrolling in, scrolling around, and finding out these different landmarks. Halibut fishing. Where were they halibut fishing? Over in the bay. So you learn all the landmarks. Southampton Shoal, that's where I was fishing at. So you know that they were there. So hopefully this information helps you with your planning throughout the week. Use the different apps and the data points and the forums, and ask people what was the weather like. Look at their pictures to really make sure that when you're going out there, it's safe to go out there, that you're going to enjoy your time out there and not be throwing your guts up. And using the information I just shared with you is really going to help you make more educated decisions about the wind, weather, and waves, and hopefully have better days out there, not be stuck in waves that are making everybody sick, or wind that is rocking the boat all over the place. But be aware that sometimes these apps can be off, and so take that with a grain of salt. But I think by doing more research, you're going to have more good days out there than bad days. And that's just what I do. Some people might use different forums or different apps and to get their data, but do your research before you go out there. That's how I do my research. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I will check you guys out next time.